Support your Hobbit hobby.
Welcome Strategy Battle Gamers to another GBHL YouTube video with GBHL James.
And GBHL Jamie, and we're going to be reviewing our sort of event in the event in Huddersfield.
Now the event was called Malice in Wonderland and it was held at JT's Awkward Battles. That's Maury and Madness on the forums. What I'm going to talk about today is our thoughts before the tournament, because there were some thoughts before we went. Our experience on the day, our individual games, and what I'll also do is edit in some. I didn't get much footage because we were focusing on the
actual games themselves, which is what I found at Scotland, is that you get there with all these intentions of, you know, I'll get interviews with players, I'll record some games, I'll get all the stuff going on, and then you get so involved in the actual games that you don't really get the time to do as much as you should do, really.
And I hope you guys let us off with that, because, you know, we are paid to go to the tournament and we do want to enjoy ourselves in this hobby. So yeah, I'll put some of that limited footage up and I'll probably cut it in. There's one bit where I interview my first opponent afterwards, so I'll put that in after we talk about that game. And there's also the bit before the match-up. We won't say what that was yet.
Oh yeah.
So I'll put that up, and then also the clip at the end.
Yes,
yeah, because that's pretty cool.
That can be the close-off.
So I think we should start things off. This was the first
event for the GBHL 2014 season.
Woohoo! Party
Fireworks
everywhere. Is that a good impression of what I'm trying to? There we go.
Yeah. So with it being the first tournament of the year, I wasn't going, you know, sort of cock waving. I was just taking with Thorin's company, not Dwalin's company.
It's pretty much Dwalin's company sometimes.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Although he didn't actually do too well for me, but yeah, I just thought I'd take Thorin's company. It was 400 points, single force. I thought, you know, I've got these guys at home, so I'm going to take them, have a bit of fun, because ultimately your best 4 count, and they're going to be 12 tournaments ish. So, you know, one tournament sort of doesn't hurt too badly.
And I think a lot of people went into this tournament with this frame of mind. A lot of the more experienced gamers who've been involved in the GBHL League, or GBH League even, last year, were taking sort of more fluff oriented.
Fluff oriented armies. So even just heroes that are fun to take.
Yeah.
I mean, there were things that lent themselves to a hero force. The size of the board was 3 foot long by 22 inches wide. It
was effectively a wallpaper pasting table, and this was one of the concerns before the tournament, which we'll get onto in a second.
So yeah, I think lots of those armies kind of turned up, and with it being one force, random opponents, and only 400 points, it sort of lends itself to hero armies doing quite well, because random opponents mean you're not ranked against people who have also won the same amount of games, so you've got that sort of variable skill levels that you can be playing against. You're not going to be against similar levels. You could be playing against newer players, or conversely you could get hit all the top players almost. And
the random nature of this event was another one of the concerns, along with the board size pre-tournament that we discussed about as well. It was also great to see not just a lot of experienced guys from last year.
Lots and lots of new players, lots of new faces I hadn't seen before.
Massive round of applause to those guys. Seriously, fellas, well done for attending your first tournament. It can be pretty intimidating,
especially if you're travelling on your own.
Yeah, and there were guys who were doing that, and
all the way to Huddersfield as well.
Well, it's not even Huddersfield; it's Slowett, Slaithwaite, Slowett, as they say there. There was even Alistair, wasn't there?
Alistair from one of our first stage subscribers came along.
Alistair, you're a cool guy.
You were cool.
And you attended the tournament because of this channel.
Yeah, which is amazing. This is what we want to happen, basically. So we want to see you all at our event in April and all the other events that you can make as well. You
have made us feel warm and fuzzy inside, Alistair. And we even got to drive you to Piccadilly Station and get to know you a little bit better, which was really cool.
Even had a Vault Warden team named after us.
Yes, we did! Apparently they didn't do very well.
No, I was at the front with a shield, and because you're taller, you had the spear behind me.
That's right. I had the big long pole.
I had the big shield.
I'd rather have a big long pole all day long. Anyway, kids. Anyway, so yeah, there were a few concerns in the run-up to this tournament expressed by a few people, but of course we wanted to get down there and support it. JT's a great guy.
Yeah.
It's good business. Really supports the hobby. He's Mario Madness on the forums.
There's lots of intro games, gets people into it, which was great to hear.
A lot of local
Yes,
guys. He's
yeah.
got a good local scene going. Should be great for you guys to get on. And again, we've heard a lot of our
There we go.
the obligatory beep. We've heard a lot of our first stage subscribers getting back to us and saying they've started a league in their area.
Yeah.
They're trying to get people into. They've got a gaming group going for the whole.
This is perfect. This is like what you need to almost be doing to make sure our hobby survives.
You are all winners if you're out there doing that. Really are. So,
Also, look at my shirt. So my Riverdale shirt I bought from Weta Workshop.
have you changed?
No.
Have you changed since Saturday?
What? I wasn't wearing this on Saturday.
Was you not?
No, I was wearing the blue polo neck.
You wore it for our videos on Friday.
But I didn't show it because it was too cold.
Too cold in the Northwest Gaming Centre when tournaments aren't on.
Yeah. Well, no, it's whenever the diesel heaters aren't on.
Yeah.
And when there's only 2 of us in there, I think it costs £5 a heater to run, so it'd be £10 just to stay warm. It's like we'll just.
Yeah, we'll just during the tournament it'll be toasty in there. Don't
Yeah.
you worry about it. It's a great venue.
If you watch the Q&A, I also want to apologise. I've still got my cold, but it was really sort of bad that day. You see them like.
Oh, and there's one bit where I'm going to get some trees, and you're like, you did your Diet Coke burp. And I did think for a second, should I edit that out? And then I thought, no.
Thanks.
I'm pretty sure there've been plenty of times when you've been editing things not in my favour.
Yeah,
so,
probably.
And Q&A's not there to be edited massively.
No.
Apart from the fact that we walked off for about 5 minutes
Yeah,
at one point while we were looking up rules. I did have to edit that down.
Yeah.
So anyway, about Malice in Wonderland, there were some concerns. The main concerns were the size of the tables.
Yeah.
This is JT's first tournament
Yeah.
that he ran, so there were concerns about whether he'd be able to manage a scoring system.
Yeah.
Random.
The fact that it was random opponents is always a bit of a worry, especially for the sort of top level players, because you don't know if you're going to get an easy run or an incredibly hard run, and it doesn't seem to lend itself greatly to a ranked tournament. Like if a tournament's going to be put into the league, it feels like it should be you against similar level opponents, so you don't sort of get that random easy run.
Yeah. And I think that was it mainly for the concerns, wasn't it?
That random easy run that you can get.
I had to play you.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll talk about that later on. We'll talk about that later on. So yeah, there were those concerns. There were 16 people at this tournament, so it was good turnout.
Very good turnout. Yeah, usually like last season or last league, sorry. Yeah, last season. You looked about 12 was your average.
And there wasn't.
That was 12 was a decent turnout.
Not many guys from the south. A few from the Midlands. We had a guy coming from Bristol.
Wales. Yeah, yeah.
He went to Cardiff, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then went to came up. But mostly from the north, I have to say. So hopefully over the course of this year we'll see guys sort of mix it up. I know that we've got guys from Scotland coming to our tournament in April. Guys coming up from down south. Because we're supporting their tournaments as well.
With it being the first tournament of the season, you're not particularly going to see too much travelling massively at the moment, because you've got to play your events, your home sort of events, and then you see what you need to improve on. So I expect the second half of the season we'll see more
travelling.
Germination.
Desperate for points.
Yeah, germination as it were, that people sort of feel like, oh, I've got that weekend off, I can go to that tournament sort of thing.
Yeah. So this was JT's first tournament, and now he runs a shop which is effectively like a stand in a kid's wear 'em out kind of play gym.
Yeah. Well, it is,
Crashy kind of thing.
It's a play gym and crash, isn't it?
And that was a concern of mine, because I've been there before and I was concerned about the size of the room.
Yeah.
But I have to say, it worked out really well.
Yeah, it was just about right, wasn't it?
It was just about right. I think if you'd have had
another 2 tables in there, you'd have been really.
If you'd have had over 20, you might have struggled.
Yes, yeah.
So 16 was kind of ideal for him. It kept everyone close together, so it meant when games ended, you were able to watch other people really easily, and it was actually quite cosy. It gave you a good opportunity to get to know everyone, especially some of the new guys who've not been involved. Lots of banter.
Yes, yeah.
The guy who's wear 'em out gym it is play crash.
Yeah.
He was
behind the bar. Wasn't he? He was playing, but was he playing?
No, he wasn't. No. He was making me cups of tea most of the time. He makes a cracking brew, a really good brew. Not as good as yours, Steve's, and only slightly better than Jane's. She's not here, so I can say things like that. She doesn't watch the channel. If you're watching the channel, Jane, you make the best brew.
Yeah, good job. Go you back. Should we move on to the actual tournament itself?
Yeah, should we move on to... Well, let's talk about the table size, because that was something. So because it was a limited space, it was also going to be smaller table sizes, and as a result, certain scenarios become massively affected.
Yes.
So that was a concern.
Things like... Well, firstly, shooting armies were a very rare sight. That I don't think there really was much shooting at all. Simply because, you know, you're in combat just so quickly that even more so than sort of the other sort of setups. Because if you roll that 4+ to set up, you know, you can't set further than sort of 10 inches away from them if they get a close roll.
It meant the deployment was literally board edges as well. You know, there was no kind of like, you know, are you going to deploy near the front?
Front and the back.
There was no point.
No.
You know, but again, I have to say, although I was really worried about this, and I don't think it works really with Reconnoiter for smaller armies, which we'll talk about later.
I think in general, Reconnoiter almost shouldn't have been in the rules pack, just simply because on a 48-inch board you've got time to react to things. Whereas, you know, 3 heroic marches or 2 heroic marches and you're off, or 2 heroic marches and a regular move, you're off. In your case, cavalry 2 turns, 3 if they're regular cavalry, they're off. There's just very little that can actually be done to stop it. And
I would agree with that. I think in retrospect, maybe if you're playing on board sizes like that, you maybe don't do Reconnoiter. But apart from that, I really enjoyed the dynamic of playing on a smaller table.
Yes, it sort of forced you to change your mind a little bit of what to do.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Definitely worth giving a go if anybody wants to give it a go at 400 points. Just for giggles, not competitive, definitely worth doing. So we'll talk about the tournament itself now. So the tournament, there were 4 games.
Yep.
And the scenarios were...
Can you remember them?
The first one was Lords of Battle.
Yep.
The second one was Reconnoiter.
Yep.
The third one was Hold Ground.
Yep.
And the fourth one was To the Death.
Yes, that's correct. Well done.
You well thought I was going to get one wrong then.
I wasn't sure if you get the third one right.
Oh, whether I'd say High Ground or Hold Ground. It was Hold Ground. So there were these 4.
Yep.
And as we said, you got randomly drawn against opponents, which you know, was also a nice dynamic because it meant that you were mostly playing people that you've not played against before. I did have to play one person I played before, which we'll get to.
Yeah. So for my first game, I had Thorin's Company, which was...
Yeah, talk us through your force and why you brought it.
I had Thorin, Dwalin, Nori, Dory and Gloin. Reason being is all bar Nori have 3 attacks in their profile and are all fight 5 or 6.
And this was a decision that Jamie made a while ago as well, because it's the first tournament of the year, it wants to have a bit of fun, and you know, there are plenty of tournaments to, you know, if he hadn't done well, it could affect his...
I could improve essentially on other tournaments.
And you painted it really nicely.
Painted it nicely.
Did well in your practice.
Did well in the practice game against Steve.
Practice games.
Thanks for all the exercise.
Oh, Steve.
Sorry, Steve.
I can't wait until you batter him, Steve.
This is probably why he didn't turn. He's like, you know what?
Yeah, his shop didn't really get broken into. By the way, if you see Stephen Crow commenting on here, his shop got broken into. Scumbags. Absolute scumbags.
Literally like the day before the tournament, so he unfortunately he couldn't attend.
And he was going to as well, which is a big shame. Would have been his first tournament. He's definitely coming to April.
Yeah. We know where he lives. We can pick him up.
We'll just grab him.
Yeah.
For myself, I originally, 400 points, was going to try a Corsair Reaver army, wasn't I? Not doing the shade filth. Do you know, some people do bring filth.
They do.
Like, again, we'll talk about that at the end.
49 Hobbits and Malbeth. You know, Malbeth, obviously that well-known Shire hero.
Well, I guess back in the day, you know.
He's pushing it, really.
It is pushing it. I agree, because of the heroes that he was using. They all exist at different times as well. And I guess monsters and spiders could be a bit of filth. Dwellers.
Charles' list was very... The winning list was very sort of...
Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah, well done, Charles.
Well done, Charles.
You've managed to avoid me.
I'm glad that I avoided him, to be fair. I think he would have smashed me.
I would have quite happily had a go.
Would you?
Yeah. 1 might versus 11. I'd take that.
So yeah, I've just shown Jamie now how far I got with my army. By 11 o'clock at night, I had to make a decision.
He's not even gotten painted, really. You got like the skin done and 1 section of cloth done.
No, I've got.
No, you haven't. Look at him again.
6 of them have effectively got almost their base coats, and then I still needed to paint quite a lot more. Quite a lot more, and I basically abandoned that decision and then started thinking, well, I'm just going to take what I've got, I'm going to take my Rohan and all this kind of thing, and then in the end,
it was about 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I texted you and I said, have you got your Rivendell Knights painted up?
I was like, yeah, of course I have.
Yeah, because we're doing Middle-earth's Deadliest Warbands, which is going to be a series which is coming soon.
Yep.
I said, do you know what would be quite cool? Why don't I take Ale the Young, which I didn't have, so I had to do a real quick conversion, which worked.
Which worked.
It actually looked reasonable, you know.
Yeah, he stood apart from the Suns, which is the main thing.
Yeah. Well, he was on an armoured horse from Theoden. It was a royal guard that was adjusted, so he had a spear in the same pose, and he had the paint job.
Yeah.
You know, so it counted. And then 5 Sons of Ale, Rivendell Knight Captain with Shield, and 5 Rivendell.
5 for real nice with Shield. Yeah.
So that was a last minute thing because again, it's the first tournament of the year, and we're going there to have fun.
Yeah.
Going there to have fun. So, in your first game, which was Lords of Battle, you were drawn to.
I was drawn against Will, Bert, and Tom. Is that right? Will, Bert, and Tom.
It is.
And
that's nearly exactly 400 points as well.
Yeah, it's 390 points, and the campfire, unfortunately, is 15 points. So I couldn't take the campfire. I think I'd looked at that force as well.
I'd looked at it. Yeah.
The campfire is 15 points. Unfortunately, you couldn't take that as well to finish and flesh out your army and get them all their special rules. But yeah, it was really tough to play against. I fortunately won. Yes.
Who was the player that you were playing? Who's the new player?
It was Keza.
Keza.
His name was.
New player?
New player, yes. Yeah. Regardless, though, there was nothing we could do tactically besides run at each other and start hitting each other. So I got stuck in. Charged a couple of models. Suddenly learnt how horrible being sneezed on is. Constantly being.
What happens?
One of the models, it's actually the wrong one from the film. I can't remember the names. I just keep referring to them. It's the one pushing, the one that's tall, and the one that's got the knife. But when he sneezes on you, you halve your fight value, as if you were in contact with the back swarm and been transfixed. So it's like, okay, I'll put in this fight 6 one against you. Oh no, I put Dory in first time. It's like, okay, sneeze on you. I was like, oh. So if I heroic strike and get to 10, it drops down to 5, which is still lower than the trolls. Enemy died in 1 turn, just squish, gone. And I did win in the end, fortunately.
Congratulations to Jamie.
Yeah, in 1 turn, the Thoros Company managed to kill 2 of the trolls, and then were free to mob and trap the last one. But yeah,
there was a rule that your opponent got wrong as well. He sneezed on you.
He sneezed on me sort of every turn, but you meant to expend a point of will to do it. So he only starts with 3 will points.
And he's a new player. So.
He's a new player, and it didn't affect the outcome of the game for me too badly. So
no.
We played again to see if we could do it differently and how things worked. And Thoros Company actually did perform better that time because I knew what the abilities of each one.
What a great thematic game as well. It would have been fantastic if we could
have
recorded that. So we'll try and do maybe something like that in the future.
Well, I think I'm going to pick up the trolls anyway. I fancy giving them a paint up. So.
Yeah, I think they're supposed to be quite easy to paint up. Similar to
white flesh.
Yeah, right clean flesh, dry right clean flesh. I believe.
Yeah.
Just to get them to a reasonable standard. We could do that. That'd be good fun. Yeah. So that was in Lords of Battle. So what was the score?
Score ended, I think, 12-9.
12-9.
Yeah.
So 12-9. So that's pretty close.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, 15. Maybe 15-12, 15-9. We both broke each other. I got the general, and I got all the wounds and fate, so you can work it out for yourselves what that is. I think it was about 15 actually.
Interesting. He's a 3 model army. Does he count as being? Oh, but you tabled him.
I tabled him. Yeah.
You tabled him. And on the current ruling, which we'll talk about towards the end of this.
Yeah, that is broken. Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Actually, I didn't even think of it like that. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that at the end because we don't want to give away spoilers because that's something. Oh, maybe your result will be changed. Well, it won't now.
It won't now.
The current
well, no, because I took off the table as well. So.
It's not done.
I played 2 3 model armies actually.
I think it might be the theme after what was discovered at Preston.
Yeah.
Which again we'll talk about later on in this video. So if you want to find out all of these controversial things we're not really letting out to you yet, it's because we're going to talk about it at the end because it does need to be talked about. So in my first game, I got drawn up against, in Lords of Battle, Treebeard, an eagle, and an ent. And I was like, why? Why have you done this to me? As an all cavalry force, 3 models up against...
All monsters, all
can hurl.
All high fight, all... yeah.
That could have been a very tough one for me. I was playing against a very new place. He's had some games before, but it was his first tournament. His name was Gaz. It was really good to play against you, Gaz. And what effectively happened in that game was the fact that he was a beginner really showed. In that he was throwing stones.
Yeah, with the ents when he should have been charging.
He was trying to avoid my bow fire.
Yeah.
Which he didn't need to be that worried about. I had
6 bows.
6 bows, and he's got defence 8 all round. Is that defence 7?
Yeah.
Eagles
defence 7.
You know, so 6s 4s or 6s. Oh no, 6s 4s.
Just 6s.
Or 6s, yeah.
Yeah.
And he split up his force. Now, the moment that he split up his force, I immediately targeted.
Took advantage.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did, as you do. Immediately surrounded, trapped his eagle that had no might, heroic striking, and with it being trapped, just took it out straight away. And it was exactly the same with the ent, and then the same with Treebeard as well.
Yeah.
So I did talk to him afterwards and say, next time you're in that situation, try and keep that force together, because that was the reason why I could win. So in the end, it was a whitewash for me. It was 15-0, but I was very lucky that he hadn't had an opportunity to play with that force lots. And if it was a more experienced player, I would have been in a bit of trouble. Yeah, possibly. Yeah. So we both started off with a win. Team GBHL.
2 wins.
So there we were. Looking all. What I'll do now, actually, I'll put the interview with my player up now. Welcome, Strategy Battle Gamers, to another GBHL video. This time we are reporting from the tournament, Malice in Wonderland, up in Huddersfield. This is JT's tournament from Awkward Battles. I'm sat here with Gaz, my first opponent. Say hello to everybody, Gaz. This is your first tournament, isn't it?
Yep.
And you were lucky enough to be drawn against me, Lords of Battle.
Yep.
And what was your army today? You were borrowing off JT, weren't you?
Yeah, got Treebeard and an eagle.
Treebeard and an eagle, which in theory would be very, very good at Lords of Battle, and a tough thing for the cavalry to take down. But in the end, it was a flawless victory. Yep. Now, we've discussed about why we think this is. So if you want to tell everybody, what would you do differently if we played it? It was 15 victory points.
To do it again, I would keep my army together and attack the cavalry like that and hurl them next time.
Yeah. You got to win the fight. The mistake that Gaz made, you know, that's what you need to do on your first tournament, is make mistakes. I made tons on my first one. Was that you separated Treebeard, the Ent, and the Eagle, and it allowed me to gang up on the monsters that didn't have any might, take them out of the game, surround them, use the piercing strike of the Sons of Ale, and do a heroic strike every time with the Elven Captain from the Rivendell Knights, and we just sort of took you out one at a time, didn't we?
Yep.
So quite a quick game. Next up is Reconnoiter. So giving Gaz some handy little tips with his all-monster army of how to try and win that. So we're going to wish you the best of luck on your next game.
Thank you.
And you're going to be coming to more tournaments this year?
Yep.
That's it. We're running a tournament in April. Down in Stockport, if you want to come down with JT.
Alright, yeah.
So that's the 12th and 13th of April. We're going to get tons of guys to come down and get involved in that tournament. So hopefully see some of you guys there. And we're on to a 15-minute break now. We'll get a cup of tea. And I'm making him famous. We're going to get a cup of tea, and then we're going on to round 2. So we'll let you know how it goes. Happy Strategy Battle Gaming. So I hope you enjoyed seeing what me and Gaz had to say after the battle. So the draw was made next, and this is what happened.
Owen.
Hello, Strategy Battle Gamers. Yeah, I don't know if you can guess by looks on our faces, but we've been drawn against each other
in Reconnoiter.
Reconnoiter.
I'm taking the 5 dwarves, and you've got the 12 cavalry models.
There's so much at stake here.
Pride, tournament. No.
It's horrible. It's actually horrible. My stomach is.
No, I'm going to beat you.
Oh, did you see that, guys? Last time he said that, I smashed him with all cavalry Rohan against his Pride and Joy Wood Elves. So
yeah, but you cheated. You cheated though.
Let's see what happens.
It was James and I playing Reconnoiter. So his 12 model cavalry force This is my 5 dwarves on the 22-inch range board. Yeah.
Can I just point out that no matter what the scenario had been, neither of us would have wanted to play each other.
Not particularly, no.
There's too much at stake. It's like
too much at stake, and
it's like living in Liverpool and being an Everton fan, and Liverpool beat Everton.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long while before
you forget about that.
Same round here, you know. I'm a United fan.
Yeah.
I'm surrounded by City fans everywhere. They don't let you live it down when you're not doing well. It's horrible. However, this game was weighted heavily in my favour.
Yeah.
Not just because Jamie can't beat me, but because it really. In fact, I refused to gloat about this because I made a gentleman's agreement. You wouldn't have done. If you'd have beaten me, you'd have absolutely. I've never heard the end of it.
No, I think if it had been weighted the same way, you know, it's one of these games where it doesn't feel like a game or a true victory, because you know I sat down and go, James, you've won this, and you were like, what? How? What?
I'm probably really annoyed.
You were frustrated with me during the game because I was like, James, calm down, and you know all you need to do is turn up.
This is the calmness of experience.
The board with your general, and you know that's 3 VPs gone. The way your army's built, 6 in each force, for me to break, you've got to kill those 6 and then kill another one. How are we going to do that when you're off in 2 turns? And I was just like, well, you know, there is literally
physically couldn't have done
nothing
anything.
I can do, especially when I win priority and see I turn up and then you get to react to me, rather than, I mean, if your General Warman had turned up, I could just throw the dwarves towards him. But even then, I would have just moved inside of it. It was interesting because, in spite of it being so heavily favoured to me, like, unless I'd have been really stupid, like really stupid, I couldn't have lost that. No,
you know, I couldn't have lost it. If I couldn't have moved down the side, that might have
been a much different game. Yeah, I should have pushed him.
Well, I did.
You were accusing me.
I did check to see. It was a small board, and I did notice when I returned from the bathroom. I hadn't looked at the board beforehand, to be honest.
Set it up, yeah.
I didn't. If I'd have set it up, I'd have given myself nice, evenly placed gaps in between, rather than what was effectively channeling it into the middle, and there was just room for one cavalry. And you even said when I first moved down one side.
You actually fit through that.
He did. He's like, "Can you fit through it without going onto the other table?" Deadly serious. He's deadly serious.
You got to be.
You were, and it made me nervous. It made me really nervous because I thought, "Oh my God.
What if I can't fit? I'm stuck." Well, you're not stuck. I just run back 10 inches, but
I was bricking it.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to lose to him. I've been ducking him for ages, and I get drawn against him in the tournament. But to be fair, although it was a victory for me, I don't really see it as a.
No.
There's nothing you could have done there.
Really. Quite literally nothing. I tried my best, but
he did give me a sneaky compliment though, because he did say, like, James, you were annoying me during that game because you couldn't have lost. You know.
But he did the right thing by not charging me when he had the opportunity to, and it's sort of the sign of a decent player to show that he's not going to take. I set up.
I'm joking.
I charged the dwarves as far forward as I could do, and left them all sort of separately on their own, hoping that James would take the bait and charge in, and then I could potentially heroic combat around and kill some stuff.
But I was chicken.
But he was chicken. Maybe that's more what it was than good player. I just like literally ran past the dwarves, avoiding the control zones where he could. So yeah,
which is what you've got to do.
Yeah.
In that situation. So yeah, not really a game, and it did highlight the problem with reconnoitering that.
Sorry, we had to break there for a bathroom break. Yeah, back to
what? You've sworn 4 times in this video.
Have I?
Yeah, and you've not even realised.
Oh.
5 kids, noise, potty mouth. I'm editing this, so I'll beep it out anyway. So yeah, after that second game, I was down 2 wins. You were on
a win and a loss.
Or win and a loss. There was only a couple of us on 2 wins, weren't there? I think there was me, Kieran, really nice guy, brought 3 hunters.
Yep. You, Kieran,
Charles.
And Charles, I think, might have been the only ones.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So, yeah.
So obviously everybody would have wanted to see us.
Oh no, Owen Wright was as well.
Oh yeah, and Owen. So four of us were on the 2 wins, and then we had lunch. And I have to say, the lunch was absolutely fine. It was great. It was nice. Everybody was sort of chilled out. The games had enough time between, especially with it being on a small table.
Yeah.
It didn't feel rushed. It didn't feel.
No.
I thought it was quite nice.
I think realistically, I had time in each game besides the last one to have another game if I was so inclined, which I did do against the troll player.
Mm.
But I was like, well, there's no point playing this again because it's the exact same thing's going to happen.
No.
And then the third game, taking hold, I think Dominic didn't particularly want to after.
Mm.
Not that I don't know, I think just didn't see his head in the game sort of thing.
Mm. Yeah, it's going to be tough. So yeah, we all had. I liked that kind of relaxed atmosphere. It made it feel like it was a group of mates, you know, going and having some games. And I think sometimes kind of officialness and rules packs of tournaments can be a little bit scary and intimidating for someone who's new.
Yeah.
What JT did very well as a host was that it did feel. No, it felt nice. It was a good day out.
It was structured but relaxed, is how it felt.
There you go. The right words from Jamie. Structured but relaxed. So we had some lunch and you got a token.
Yep.
With your ticket, which gave us
£2.50 off whatever you wanted in the menu.
So what did you get?
Well, James, Braun, Hobbit and I both pitched in and got a pepperoni pizza and a cheese pizza and just split them in half.
Good going.
Yeah, there was only one pepperoni pizza available, so we were like, roll off, or we could just split it.
And I got myself a bacon, sausage and an egg parm. The food was fine.
Yeah, it was really nice.
It was really good, really good. And we had a nice lunch break, lots of chatting, lots of discussions, lots of looking at each other's armies, and then we moved on to the third game. Now, the first two scenarios were preset.
Preset, yeah. These ones were randomly selected, and we got obviously hold ground and to the death. So hold ground for me, I was drawn against an Ent and Gwahir, with Gwahir being the general, and Haldir and some Gladrim warriors without shields. They had spears and bows.
Okay. And who was this player that you were playing against?
This was against Dominic.
Dominic, he was the young lad.
He was the youngest there, yeah. The terrain sort of benefited me because, well, and the setup. I mean, I used Thorin's Might to make sure I could set up not on the very extremes of the board. I could just walk on the very short distance, which benefited being dwarves. Unfortunately for him, with Gwahir, Warband didn't care too much because Gwahir can move 12 inches, which is essentially to the centre of the board regardless.
Yeah.
And Haldir set up on the far other side of the board, but I got to choose both. And he decided not to use Might because he thought he's going to need it against me. So he doesn't want to be so far down on Might. Which is fair enough, yeah. And the elves are going to get there in 3 turns anyway, so...
Yeah. It's sensible enough, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, for me, fortunately, I was able to throw in sort of Dwalin and Gloin against the regular elf warriors, and they just, you know, with being fight 6 for 3 attacks, and against the low model counts, I was able to take them out quite quickly. I then took out Gwahir in a turn of combat with Nori, Thorin and Dory, I think it was. Managed to trap him, and he decided not to counter my heroic move to get into combat with him, because he wanted to keep it from boosting fight rolls. Which I think is the
Which you thought was his mistake.
Which I thought was his mistake. I think he should have left it down to the 50-50 chance to get his general well away, because then that's 3 victory points he's denying me.
Yeah.
But then that's the thing with being sort of a new player, is that you think Might should be used for dice rolls more than moving.
Yeah.
So yeah, I managed to win that game just
What was
about.
The point score?
Point score was really close by the end of it. Neither of us ended up taking the middle, because obviously it's a random game end. It was just Thorin left in the end, and the game continued for ages, but I killed his general. We both broken each other. So I think it ended like 6-3.
Oh, so it probably was ended up looking closer than maybe it felt. Like the game had carried on going.
Oh yeah.
You'd have won that one. So another victory for Jamie, which took him to 2 victories to 1 loss.
Yep.
And not a real loss, but a loss nonetheless at the tournament. And for myself, I was drawn in hold ground against George Perkins and his Isengard army, which I also voted for best army, so best painted, because I thought it was beautiful. The detail, like you had the hands, and I think he's also the guy who has been posting up his
posting the Mirkwood and the Mirkwood Spider. The Mirkwood Spider's amazing.
He's a very good painter. Yeah, very good painter. George, you ever want to send us anything to the channel?
Every video, I swear, you make it seem like a charity case.
We're not a charity case. We just want your support. Support your Hobbit hobby. If you ever want to send us anything, your models are gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I should have asked him if he fancied painting. I bought a showdown and put a mounted off him. I should have asked him if he fancied painting it before he sent it. And then I could, like, I don't know. This is George's. I don't know. He doesn't run a painting commission, does he? So I guess it doesn't benefit him. See who commented then.
No, I missed it.
On Facebook.
Is it? Oh, okay.
So I was playing against his Isengard army. He had 9 scouts with bows. He had a captain. He had 9 scouts with bows led by Lurtz.
Yep.
He had a captain leading some feral Urukai and a few other normal Urukai with shields.
Yeah.
And then he had a shaman with some more Urukai. Now, it is Maelstrom of Battle. I ended up on one side, his ferals ended up in one area, and then he was just lined up along that board. Yeah. So it was okay, and my plan really was, what I'll do is I'll whittle him down with my bow fire.
Yeah, because defense 5, aren't they, so it's 5 to wound.
The defense 5, I've got shoot value 3. In a shooting battle, he's got 9, but he's...
2 bows, so he's killing your Sons of Ale on 6s, both horse and man, and horses on 5s, men on 6s. Got elves on the 6s.
Elves on the 6s, and he's also got a duty in the ways for the horses and riders and stuff. And I thought that I was pretty. I have to say, I got a lot of my bad luck. Not to take anything away from George, you know, it was really nice playing against him. But I did get a lot of bad luck in this game.
Yeah.
In the shooting battle, I got all my good luck with the first lot of shooting, because I just aimed it all at Lurtz and nailed him.
You killed him.
Yeah.
You scumbag.
I nailed him first, and that was his leader.
Leader dead.
Leader dead. I was like, yeah, this is mine. Could be 3 victories on the trot.
I think he must have left him on the front line or so then.
Yeah, they were all lined up, and it was pretty much because this is another problem with it being the short distance.
Yeah.
He's deployed. Did he move? I'm not sure he wanted to move for shooting.
Yeah.
So he was still along that line from the board, and I boom. Yeah. And took him down. Top
tip: if you're still watching this video, keep your heroes behind the lines until combat, because this is kind of it's just. It was easy victory points for me. Yeah, it's easy victory points, and it's too tempting a target not to shoot at. Basically, I mean, even if it's just a regular captain, that's 2 points of might from the army gone, and those might points are so valuable. At this point, I was quietly confident. Yeah. Despite he did his fury, channel fury, on a number of guys, I was quite confident, and then proceeded to lose the shooting battle against him. I lost. The captain lost his horse. Another Rivendell Knight lost his horse, and then I lost 2 Rivendell Knights. Ugh. And I didn't take anything down, and I was like, "You've got to be joking me." So I thought, right, I'm going to have to go in for this. You know, no point hanging back in cover. I'm going to have to get in there. And probably if you were glancing and looked over at the game at that point when I was in combat, it looked really against me because he had a lot of models and stuff like that. With it being whole ground, it's all about models on the centre, sort of thing. Yeah. But with a couple of sort of key heroic combats and stuff, kind of levelled it out a bit. The game continued, which was in my favour because he had more models near the centre. Yeah. He broke me, but I broke him back. And at this point, I was out of might, and I needed to charge his captain. Did he have fury up, or did you kill his shaman? Killed his shaman. Killed his shaman. And this was before we were even in the centre. Yeah. Got his shaman first, did that as a first combat and took him out. Wow. So, yeah, get rid of that fury. And I just needed to be able to charge. I lost the last 4 or 5 turns of priority while we were in this situation while the game was continuing. Which meant that he had to roll his leadership of his captain, which he passed every single time. Yeah. Now I was down to 2 models, so but Ale was holding on, hadn't taken a wound, hadn't lost any fate, was winning his combats, was killing stuff. Same with the Rivendell. It was just the captain and him left. So I just needed to get that charge, but I didn't. So congratulations to George. Got a lot of my bad luck in that game, but he did take me down. That was good, and that was that. So I lost that one. I think it was 12-6. Yeah. 12-6. So that was our 3rd game. So all of a sudden, I think at this point there was only one person. Was it? Only one? Charles was only the only person on 3 wins, I think. Yeah. Because unfortunately, Kieran lost his game versus Lewis with the 3 hunters versus the Dwarven Heroes, and yeah, I think that was it. I think Owen lost the game as well because you know Owen can't win in the second half of a tournament.
He did the same with Preston, didn't he?
Yeah, well, this is why he's got this
He
reputation.
was leading on the first day and then just...
And same again, you know, winning. I think he was first in victory points on this day, so you know he's top of the table, and then plays a first game after lunch, and just drops it.
Yeah. Oh dear.
We decided he needs to not have lunch.
To not have lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, good idea. Just play through.
Just
Just keep playing the game.
Just by yourself.
Just
Everyone's
don't
eating,
eat.
just like you
Don't
know,
eat.
just move models.
Move models. Roll dice.
Yeah.
Just keep rolling dice. So we went into the final game. And
Yeah.
who did you have?
I was drawn against Owen, and as I think you might have just realised what the result of this was.
Yeah, and what did Owen bring?
Owen brought Gil-galad on horse, or on armoured horse, Glorfindel with his armour of Gondolin and on a horse, and Legolas with armour.
So again, another 3 model army.
3 model army that can't be broken. We played Lords of Battle. Besides a couple of, he got some terrible luck in, he charged in, killed Dwalin.
What was the scenario?
Oh, sorry,
To
not
the
Lords of
death.
Battle, to the death, yeah, sorry. Some terrible luck for him. I managed to kill off both the big elven heroes within a turn of them charging in, which we were both kind of just like, as if that just happened, sort of thing. Like, what the boop just
I'm
happened.
glad you did that for me.
Yeah. And then, you know, it turned into a chase for Legolas to kill him because, you know, that would end the game basically.
Yeah.
And I killed this general and he broke me, and then the game ended. So interestingly, on victory points, he got 5 victory points for breaking me, and I got 3 victory points for killing his general. But because I took him off the table, I automatically won.
It's
So-
an interesting situation.
For our victory points, it was like, well, he scored more than me, but I killed all 3 models, so yeah.
A very bizarre
yeah,
situation.
During the game, we thought it was 3-3, and this sort of influenced Owen's decision to try and get Legolas in there to get wounds on the general. Had I think Owen and I realised it was 5-3 at that point, he'd have just ran Legolas the beep away. So keep that 5-3.
This is post-tournament, Jamie. This is what happens.
Yeah, just start swearing.
Potty mouth.
Swearing like a sailor. But yeah, I think we both didn't realise until someone told us, oh, you know, I scored 5 for, you know, breaking it, and we were like, what? And then checked the rule back, and it was like, yeah, Owen, you got 5 victory points.
Oh, so he would have run away with Legolas.
He'd have just run away and, you know, just kept running, which he could have done.
He could have done against your dwarves.
Against the dwarves, yeah. We both had no might left, and yeah, So
Bizarre situation. You were very lucky
thank
there.
goodness, yeah.
So I guess your lack of luck being drawn against me in Reconnoiter
So it paid off with
Paid off
with Owen forgetting.
with Owen.
But I think also just the luck of killing the 2 big elf heroes in a turn.
Well, I think we're about to talk about the biggest amount of luck.
Yeah.
So in my last game, I played against Jamie's pal, the very lovely Hobbit, James Braun.
Yeah.
What a nice dude, by the way.
Yeah.
James, you're ultra nice. People used to say that Tom was annoyingly nice. No, Tom is horrid compared to you. You are lovely. So again, it was to the death, and his army was the Elven twins on horse with heavy armour, was Arwen on Asfaloth, and which is a horse for those that don't know, and Saruman
White on horse. Yeah.
Saruman the White on horse. This was my first ever game
Yes,
against a wizard, and oh my days, did I get taught a lesson. I got taught a series. I was getting spanked, like really spanked. Like not getting disheartened. I was very, very keen not to be disheartened, because it was really interesting. It was interesting. I've never come across it before.
Yeah, wizards definitely bring another sort of element to the game that sort of.
And if you've not played against it before, you learn quickly.
You set yourself up for a fall.
Literally.
Quite literally for cavalry.
So within 2 turns, not a single one of my models that I started with remained on the board. So yeah, they were all unhorsed. So I had to go and get me warriors of Rohan as Sons of Ale, and high elves with bow and blades as the foot dismounts for that. So that was really interesting. I was looking at it thinking, it's only a matter of time. So I think at a certain point in that game, I'd pretty much lost.
Well, you used the elves to get a wound on Saruman, didn't you?
Yeah, I managed to, before he kind of closed in, I did manage to get a wound on Saruman. He used the Fate, failed the Fate, took a wound, and that's kind of when he closed in and started trying to use the Nature's Wrath to finish off those that hadn't been Sorcerous Blasted. Because that was something I learned as well, like Sorcerous Blast doesn't work like a bow shot. Yeah. So I'd kind of hidden at first behind this bit of terrain. Yeah. And there was one part of it, there was like there was a cave, and he moved moved Eladan up, and then like Saruman was like just behind him and everything. So it's like, oh okay, yes, I'm all in position, and it's not like he can't shoot through.
It's like, as long as you can see him, you can cast at him.
I was like, what? It really was a kind of, what can I do? This is really good. So my plan at that point was literally just stop him from killing Ale. Yeah. Ale the Young, who got Sorcerous Blasted and thus dismounted straight in the first turn. Yeah. Just try and stop that and just delay that for as long as possible. And delay getting broken.
Just keep stopping,
Yeah, so just try and delay. So we got the wound on Saruman. He closed in, he did Nature's Wrath with Arwen, got him in, and so proceeded. Well, he killed most of my stuff, and I was down to 4 models. 4 models, and 1 from because I was broken, obviously. 1 from the game ending. It's a 25% game, isn't it? Yeah. To the death. At which point, I managed to kill 1 of the Elven twins. Which was the captain. Oh no, it was Ale. It was Ale. I managed to surround him. I'd got sort of 1 model each into combat with the others, who managed to hold off. And surrounded him, trapped him, and killed him.
We sent the other brother berserk.
Sent the other brother berserk, which meant he had to chase after Ale.
Which was not a great thing to be in.
Which was not a great thing. It meant that he had to charge him. In the preceding couple of turns is definitely my highlight of wargaming ever. To be fair to James, he couldn't roll to win a fight. And the one where he might have done, he decided to be
Combat Wizard,
which meant he got -1 to his dice roll.
So he used his staff as a two-handed weapon, which means he gets the -1.
And it was in this game that the high fight of the elves and the elven captain really helped me out. Yeah. That really helped me out. But then again, the killing power of the Sons of Ale. The killing power of the Sons of Ale and being able to shield. I lost the shield when I dismounted with the elves. I picked the bow and the elven blade. Yeah. And then it all came down to this final turn. He killed 1 of my models, so I was down to 3. 1 Son of Ale on foot, Ale the Young on foot, and the Rivendell Knight captain. Arwen had been killed at this point. Yep. Which meant that if I was to kill another one, he would be broken. Yep. Knowing this, with James Braun, he had to make a decision. Yep. With Eladan or Elrohir, whichever twin was left. Did he focus on trying to get the kill on Ale? Yeah. And keep Saruman out of the way? At which point I would probably kill.
Well, more than likely, yeah.
More than likely kill the twin. Yeah. At which point I would break him, or would
charge him with the
stop me from killing the twin and hope that Saruman won.
Just doesn't die, basically. Yeah.
Suddenly, the room almost quiet. There's still 1 game going on, which we'll come to. Everybody is around. It's a Colosseum. Scary moment.
Now, see, before you got to it, moments like this, I've had these in the past, where everyone sort of gathers around your game, and it is that sort of when you're playing, it can be the most frustrating and sort of worrying thing. Cause you're like, can everyone just leave? Can everyone just leave? I just want to play my game. You know, stop building it up. But everyone's there like.
Because it was literally about the.
It came down to literally the last roll of the game, didn't it?
It came to the last roll of the game. Saruman lost in his combat.
His 2 dice got 5, and I think you're what?
No, I think he rolled a 3 highest in that one.
Oh, really? Oh, God.
Yeah, he rolled a 3 highest in that one, and I won the fight.
Yeah.
He had he'd taken a fate and he'd taken a wound, so he had 2 fate left and 2 wounds.
Yes. Yeah.
So this was it. I had to kill him.
Yeah. And you piercing struck with.
I'd done piercing strike with the Son of Ale.
Yep. Probably it, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just the Son of Ale, wasn't it?
No, Son of Ale and the
Son of Ale and the captain.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had 4.
The Elven captain, yeah.
The Elven captain. And couldn't look, could I?
No.
I threw the dice onto the table.
Ran away from the table.
Ran away from the table. Couldn't take it.
Everyone just goes in that kind of.
But I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know whether this meant I won or lost.
But you know,
somehow,
every single dice wounded, which meant that the 2 wounds from Saruman had gone, and even with his 2 fates, he couldn't avoid the other 2. So Saruman died, which was him broken, and the general gone, which was
which was all of a sudden
an 8 victory point swing to your sort
insane
of 5 or 6-3, wasn't it? Yeah.
I've never ever gone dizzy playing a game. not one that involves rolling dice. Not one that doesn't involve some kind of sport or like being choked out in mixed martial arts or something, and you go dizzy. But it was crazy.
Yeah.
James, your dice rolling, man. It abandoned you.
He's done this plenty of times to me, like where he's winning the game so confidently.
He was smashing me.
He just deserts him.
I lost the game 45 minutes before I won.
Yeah.
That's what happened. I'd lost the game. I was convinced.
James is a bit of a pro at snatching defeat
from the jaws of victory. Top guy. I really enjoyed playing with him, and I voted him best sportsman.
Yeah.
He
kept his. We're still happy at the end of the game, which is.
Oh, he's just a lovely dude.
You can understand if someone was so disappointed at themselves and sort of negative towards the end of a game like that. If you've got a game in the bag, and you sort of almost throw it away on dice rolls, it's very easy to suddenly become very negative.
And he wasn't negative at all. Neither of us were, which I think made it an even more fun game. Because it could have been like, if I hadn't been bothered and gone, oh, I can't win this, I can't win. And I wasn't like that. I was like, so what can this do? How does this work?
Yeah.
Whoa, this is crazy. What do I need to do to stop this in the future? That was really
more of a learning game then.
And James was great. Like, in fact, he was because I know that we had a lot of banter and everything, but Jamie's really, really good at teaching the game, and he does. It probably won't as much when we're in a competitive environment against each other, but he does give tips, and you do, don't you?
Yeah.
You're very nice.
It's something that you got to.
Nice enough to win.
Yeah.
Best sporting.
Yes. Hey, somehow. Holy crap.
So we both hold a best sporting.
Yeah.
So like I rubbed off on you and you rubbed off on me.
Let's not say that on the channel. That sounds awful.
This is what we do. We open film, we rub off on each other. Oh my days.
Oh wow.
Oh my days. Anyhow.
Yeah.
So that has been our tournament review.
Yeah. So final standings is you came 3rd and are now 3rd in the league since this is the first tournament of the year.
Woo!
And I'm 4th.
I should be 2nd.
Yeah.
I was very lucky. I was really lucky. Lucky to be playing against a beginner with that force on Lords of Battle.
To meet me in Reconnoiter.
To meet Jamie's force in Reconnoiter. Very lucky. Had all of my bad luck in a one game against George. But
all that good luck pay off again.
And then all of it came back in the last and the most important turns. The game against James Braun, which was just epic. Your highlight of the tournament?
It was probably the game against Keza in the first game when it was Thorin's company. But no, don't be silly. Game against Keza when we played the troll game. It was just good fun. It was very thematic and really good, just really good fun.
Yeah, which is what it should all be about. You guess what mine is?
I don't know.
Rolling those dice.
Oh, and those last 4 dice.
That was just. It's going to be hard to match.
It's just a shame that we don't have it. It's almost like that feeling when I get when I saw Ed roll those 4 dice and get the 3 highest, and you're sort of like, oh, the best thing just happened possible. Like, this is the best outcome I could think for.
Yeah, I mean, shot at in helicopters and not felt like I felt at that moment. You know, seriously, like, just, it was unbelievable. My knees buckled and everything. Overall, it was a fantastic tournament. Yeah. I think we both agree.
Yeah, I go back for a second one.
Yeah, all day long. Well done, JT. You deserved that.
You brushed aside all sort of preconceptions of what the tournament might end up like, and
yeah,
you
really brought experienced and new players together really, really well. It ran smoothly. It was a good event, good location.
We got to meet some subscribers for ourselves,
which was really nice.
Yeah,
and we look forward to meeting more of you in April.
The best comment of the day for us was like, "I can't believe you're in 3D."
Yeah, was that Alistair?
That was Alistair saying.
And he said, was it, I can't get over seeing you from the side.
Yeah. Because obviously you only see us sort of face on and we sit towards the camera.
Should we just do it for a profile shot? But then I'll be able to see how big my nose and ears really
are.
are. Oh dearie me. So, great tournament, well done JT.
I enjoyed like going down to the pub afterwards and sitting in our table. It's just that.
That was my idea.
That was your idea. It's always the best bit is after the tournament or after day one when you can just go sit down, have a few pints and just talk about
toy soldiers, as Damien would say.
Yeah.
It was the best bit. We all got together. I think pretty much everybody came to the pub afterwards.
Yeah.
Me and Charles totted up the 2 versions of the day scores.
To me, and then I put them into Excel when I got home, so I had them saved. And then sent off to Mick once he'd made his decision.
Yeah, yeah, which we do stand by. So let us know what you think about the tournament review. If you were there, it was lovely to meet you or see you again, whoever you are. Let us know what you agree, disagree with. Share, like, comment, subscribe as always.
Yeah.
Support your Hobbit hobby.
And happy strategy battle gaming, guys.
Before we sign off, although I am impressed with your signing off skills.
Oh, we've got a special one.
What's the next tournament?
Next tournament is going to be, what's it called?
Destination.
It's not Destination Cumberbatch. No, that's the one after hours. February 1. I've forgotten what it's called.
Is it at Mansfield?
It's at Mansfield at Dreamlight Gaming. So if you like their channel, you'll get the information.
He was up, wasn't he? The guy.
He's up. Tom Robinson.
Really nice guy.
It's who I voted for Best Army, and he won it joint in with Ed.
Oh yeah, they both won it, didn't they?
Yeah.
Congratulations, Tom.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be 500 points, 1 force. 2 days, and going to be all 6 scenarios from the Lord of the Rings source books in the order that they are in the books. So starting at Lords of Battle and finishing on the high ground.
Sounds like good fun. Look forward to seeing you all there, guys.
I'll be there, definitely.
We've already done our sign off, so.
Yeah, well, we've got the special one.
Adios, amigos! Now this is the real sign off. Enjoy.
Support your